Steelers Nation, buckle up because we have a lot to unpack about what's going on with our Pittsburgh Steelers as we move further into this 2025 season. After Sunday's game, I spent some time replaying the highlights, rewatching certain plays, and honestly, it was hard to ignore just how many things went sideways. At first, I thought I had a list long enough to sustain several episodes, breaking down every mistake, every missed opportunity, every questionable decision. The run defense looked completely lost at times. The offense never seemed willing to challenge the middle of the field, and watching Pat Freiermuth barely see the field, 17 snaps and 0 targets, was baffling. But then I took a step back and realized that diving into all the negatives wouldn't necessarily get us anywhere. It wouldn't solve anything, and honestly, it was exhausting just thinking about it. So instead of retracing all the mistakes, I want to try something different today. I want to look ahead, and yes, I say try, because that's exactly what it will be, a careful, hopeful attempt to envision a scenario where this team could turn things around starting this Sunday in Baltimore. Let's face it, after the whirlwind of reactions to last week, the Fire Tomlin chants, the booing of Renegade, the frustration that's been building, it's hard not to wonder what's next. Is there even a reason to care about the rest of the season? From a purely fan-centered perspective, I believe there is, and it begins with a win against the Ravens. This isn't about math, about division standings, or even about the final head-to-head matchup at the end of the season. Lose this one, and the season essentially collapses. But a win opens a door. Let's assume the Steelers don't stumble in Baltimore. Let's assume they step onto the field ready to execute, to recapture some of the spark we saw earlier in the season. Remember Dublin? That game showed flashes of life, but it was the performance against Indianapolis that truly caught my eye. From the opening snaps, you could sense a different energy. This wasn't a team ready to surrender. They were either going to dominate the Colts or go down fighting, and that fight was electric. The preparation, the focus, the willingness to execute a game plan that was inspired, even against opponents who seemed stronger on paper, gave a glimpse of what this team could be when everything clicks. Now, translating that energy forward to Baltimore is no small task. The Ravens Stadium is notorious, cluttered, chaotic, deliberately uncomfortable. But if the Steelers can win there, it's not just a victory on the scoreboard. It's a psychological boost. It's a statement that they can handle adversity, that they can perform in hostile territory, and that they can respond to the pressure that has been mounting around this franchise. Winning in a place designed to test you is the kind of momentum that can carry over if the team is willing to learn from it and build upon it. And building upon it means commitment, not just on the field, but in every facet of preparation. Tighter practices, better film study, a renewed focus on executing routes properly, a willingness to adjust coaching strategies and schemes. It all adds up. Remember the games against Minnesota and Indianapolis? Those weren't just wins. They were games where the Steelers outcoached opponents, where they executed game plans that maximized their strengths and exploited weaknesses in ways that weren't expected. It wasn't flawless football, but it was inspired, it was disciplined, and it demonstrated that when they put their minds to it, they can achieve more than many expected. Competence, that's the key word here. It's not about playing perfect football. It's about being competent, consistent, and unpredictable in ways that make the team hard to prepare for. On offense, that can mean pushing the field again, challenging defenses over the middle, and using the full breadth of the playbook instead of letting the game shrink into safe, predictable patterns. On defense, it's about committing to schemes that disrupt the opponent, defending the run with aggression, and creating pressure at the line of scrimmage in ways that force quarterbacks to make mistakes. It's about being dangerous, unpredictable, and relentless in pursuit of every inch. The pieces are there, they always have been, but putting them together consistently is the challenge. Of course, this is not a guaranteed path. The probability of everything falling perfectly into place, low. But football has a funny way of rewarding those who persist, those who adjust, and those who refuse to settle for mediocrity. The difference between a season that ends in disappointment and one that carries a spark of hope can hinge on one game, one practice, one small adjustment that catalyzes change. This Sunday in Baltimore isn't just another matchup. It's a test of whether the Steelers can channel frustration into focus, whether they can take the energy from fans, both the boos and the cheers, and translate it into something tangible on the field. Speaking of fans, it's impossible to ignore how much the crowd has weighed in this season. The chants, the reactions to Renegade, the growing impatience with mediocrity. This isn't just noise. It's feedback. Season ticket holders traveling hundreds of miles, fans who have supported this team for decades, all expressing frustration because they believe in the Steelers and expect more. That energy is not something to dismiss. It's a reminder that the team represents more than just statistics. It represents a city, a history, and a community that refuses to settle for subpar performance. Learning to harness that pressure, to use it as motivation rather than letting it become a distraction, is critical. The team has to respond not just to opponents, but to the expectations that come with wearing the black and gold. When we look at the specifics of what needs improvement, it's clear that every phase of the game matters. Offense and defense alike require attention to detail, execution, and discipline. The Steelers need to extend their offensive capabilities, challenge defenses in ways that keep them honest, and make every play count. On defense, they need to be disruptive, flexible, and unyielding, ready to adapt to whatever offensive schemes they face. It's a tall order, yes, but it's far from impossible. We've seen moments this season where inspiration, preparation, and execution came together beautifully, and that's what they have to aim for moving forward. And beyond the technical aspects, there's the mental and emotional component. The team has to recommit to each other, shake off the negativity, and find motivation in the face of adversity. The Fire Tomlin chants, the frustration with traditions like Renegade, the calls for accountability from fans. All of this creates a backdrop that can either weigh the team down or fuel their determination. If the Steelers can internalize the lessons, focus on progress, and build momentum from each small victory, they can start to turn what has been a turbulent season into something meaningful, even if the road ahead remains challenging. In the end, this is what football is about. Moments of pressure, opportunities to rise, and the constant challenge of doing better than yesterday. The Steelers have the talent, the history, and the fan support to make meaningful strides, but it will require more than just showing up. It will require focus, discipline, creativity, and perhaps most importantly, the willingness to embrace change where it is needed. This upcoming stretch of games is not just about wins and losses. It's about restoring a sense of identity, pride, and belief that Pittsburgh football can still be competitive, resilient, and exciting in ways that fans have long expected and deserve. Continuing from where we left off, Steelers Nation, the challenge ahead isn't just about Sunday's game in Baltimore. It's about setting a tone for the remainder of the season, and that requires a complete shift in mindset. It's about taking the lessons from the highs and lows we've witnessed so far and turning them into actionable changes that can be maintained week after week. The fans, who have been vocal and passionate throughout the season, are not just spectators. They're a part of the energy surrounding this team. When chants of frustration echo through the stadium, when Renegade plays at the worst possible moments, when fans express their discontent at the level of mediocrity, it's a mirror held up to the franchise, reflecting both its potential and its shortcomings. Listening to that reflection, internalizing it, and converting it into motivation is no small task, but it's exactly what this team needs if they hope to salvage the 2025 season. Now, let's talk about specifics because it's impossible to hope for change without understanding where the cracks have formed. Offensively, the Steelers have struggled to challenge defenses consistently. Plays that should exploit weaknesses are either too predictable or too timid. The middle of the field remains largely untouched, limiting the team's ability to control the pace and rhythm of a game. Yet, there are solutions within reach. By committing to more daring strategies, by trusting the skill players to execute under pressure, the Steelers can begin to open up the field. Small adjustments in route combinations, timing, and situational awareness can create opportunities that were previously dormant. It's about pushing past the predictable, taking calculated risks, and creating mismatches that force opponents to react rather than dictate the flow of the game. On the defensive side, the issues have been equally pronounced. The run defense has at times been porous, allowing opponents to dictate tempo and control possession. Yet, when we examine moments of success from earlier in the season, it's clear that this unit is capable of executing complex, aggressive schemes that disrupt the rhythm of even the most disciplined offenses. What's missing is consistency and discipline across all phases. To truly dominate, the Steelers must integrate creative, high-pressure tactics with fundamental soundness. They must communicate effectively on the field, adapt to opponents' mid-game, and play with a level of intensity that not only challenges the opposition, but also inspires confidence throughout the team. One of the most critical elements, however, is the mental and emotional resilience of the players. This season has been tumultuous, marked by public frustration, fan backlash, and internal scrutiny. The response to Renegade, the wave of Fire Tomlin chants, the dissatisfaction expressed by longtime season ticket holders. All of this adds pressure that can either paralyze a team or galvanize it. The Steelers have to channel that energy constructively, turning criticism into fuel, using disappointment as a catalyst to refocus and recommit. The ability to compartmentalize setbacks, maintain focus, and rise above the noise is often the difference between teams that fade into mediocrity and those that reassert themselves as contenders. Looking forward, the game in Baltimore represents a critical opportunity. Not just a test of skill or execution, but a test of character, cohesion, and resilience. Winning in a hostile environment has ripple effects that go far beyond the scoreboard. It signals to the players, the coaching staff, and the fans that the Steelers are capable of responding to adversity, of maintaining composure under pressure, and of creating momentum that can carry through the rest of the schedule. Every snap, every decision, and every adjustment matters, and the team must approach it with urgency, clarity, and focus. We've seen glimpses of what's possible. The victories against Minnesota and Indianapolis weren't just about results. They were about inspired preparation, strategic ingenuity, and players executing at a high level. That level of performance is achievable again, but only if the team approaches each week with deliberate purpose. It's not about miraculous plays or luck. It's about discipline, preparation, and consistency. Competence becomes contagious. When one unit performs well, it sets a standard for others to follow. When offensive execution improves, defensive confidence grows. When the team recommits to fundamentals while embracing innovative strategies, the synergy can transform what appears to be a struggling season into a narrative of resilience, adaptation, and growth. Fans have made their voices heard, and their expectations are clear. They demand accountability, energy, and results. Season ticket holders have traveled hundreds of miles, invested significant resources, and shown unwavering loyalty. Their frustration is valid, their passion is palpable, and their patience has limits. The Steelers must not ignore this. They must see it as an opportunity to reconnect with the community that supports them, to rebuild trust, and to demonstrate that they're not only aware of the issues, but capable of addressing them. The feedback from the stands should not be a distraction. It should be a blueprint for the urgency and intensity that needs to be applied both on the practice field and on game day. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Whispers are swirling around the NFL world after the league reportedly confirmed it has opened an investigation into the controversial matchup between the Buffalo Bills and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Sources close to the situation suggest that the scrutiny could reach far beyond typical post-game reviews, with some insiders hinting that the outcome of the contest might even be at risk of being nullified. While the NFL has not publicly confirmed any potential penalties, the very fact that an investigation is underway has already sent shockwaves through both fan bases. According to those familiar with league procedures, investigations of this magnitude are rare and usually reserved for situations involving rule violations or unusual circumstances that could compromise the integrity of the game. Details remain scarce, and both teams are keeping tight-lipped, fueling the rumor mill. Social media is ablaze, with fans and analysts dissecting every replay and stat, searching for any hint of what might have triggered the league's action. Theories range from questionable officiating to potential on-field infractions, though nothing has been substantiated. Inside sources suggest the league is taking the matter extremely seriously, signaling that any decision could carry significant consequences, not just for the game in question, but potentially for the broader playoff picture. Discussions in NFL circles reportedly revolve around whether the final score could be overturned or if a replay of the game might be considered, though such outcomes would be unprecedented in recent memory. Some speculate that this investigation could even spark changes in how games are monitored in real time, particularly in high-stakes matchups. Meanwhile, speculation among players and coaching staff is running rampant. Rumors indicate that locker rooms have been buzzing with tension as everyone tries to gauge the potential fallout. Analysts note that even a hint of a nullified game could affect team morale, betting lines, and even future scheduling considerations. While the league remains tight-lipped publicly, the mere confirmation of an investigation has reignited debates about fairness, officiating, and the NFL's role in preserving competitive integrity. For fans, the situation has become a hot topic of discussion online. Every replay, controversial call, and sideline incident is being scrutinized, feeding a growing sense of drama around the event. If the whispers hold any truth, the NFL might be on the brink of one of the most extraordinary decisions in recent years, one that could rewrite the record books and reshape the narrative around both the Bills and the Steelers. Until the league issues a formal statement, speculation will only intensify, leaving fans on edge and the sports world holding its breath. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.